An anterior ceramic crown was delivered to a patient who is dissatisfied with the fit and the aesthetics of a restoration. A clinician informs her that they completely rely on a lab for the same and can't help it. The dentist conveys her worries about unsatisfactory prosthesis to the lab technician and that they should improve the quality of work. The technician informs her that this is the only level of quality they can achieve. Another patient walks into the clinic who demands prosthesis be delivered in 2 days, to which the dentist disagrees as her lab takes a longer time to deliver the work. Angry patient leaves without treatment. The dentist decides to practice character mapping for aesthetic anterior restoration to deliver aesthetic prosthesis. For this technique, light body putty impressions are made after preparation of anterior teeth. The impression is poured in diastone to obtain a cast. A ceramic crown is fabricated on the same. Since it appears bulky, the technique of character mapping can be used to achieve accurate tooth anatomy.
First, we check the fit of the crown. There are two important things to be done. Firstly, check the gingival margin and mark the same with the pencil. There is a double margin on the crown, the actual and the extra margin. We reduce the extra margin such that only the actual margin remains. This is how we get a perfect marginal adaptation. Secondly, we have to develop the proximal contact points. In this case, we have a crown with contact points throughout. However, it should be kept at 50% only. Mark the contact points proximally in the depression area seen on both sides. We need to contour the remaining area to divert it against the contact point and maintain contact only in the marked region. Next, we check the incisal edge and mark it on the crown and make it as thin as the adjacent tooth. The labial surface is divided into vertical and horizontal thirds into cervical, middle, and incisal planes. First, the cervical third is reduced. Then the middle third. And lastly, the incisal 1/3. This is done to achieve the required tooth anatomy. Now, we mark the distal and mesial marginal line angles. These surfaces that we reduce are also called light deflecting areas. Next, we do the incisal height correction. We then mark the palatal incisal edge along with the mesial and distal margins. Then we contour the palatal surface such that the plane is in line with the adjacent tooth. The palatal contact margins and the cingulum area are marked to mimic the palatal tooth anatomy. Now we have a decent palatal and labial surface, contact points, ridges, finished lines, incisal edge, shape and size of the crown which look more accurate. Lastly, we mimic the secondary anatomic features of the tooth. Here, we see the depressions and grooves on the ridges of the adjacent tooth, which are mimicked onto the crown. Generally, the depressions are wider at the incisal edge than in the cervical portion. Once the vertical grooves are made, we mark and prepare the horizontal grooves which are milder. Finally, the formation of thin lines of perichiomata is done using a thin burr which we run along the length of the tooth upwards. This is done in both vertical as well as horizontal directions.
Trimming is complete and now we can send the crown for glazing.